So, guys, let me tell you guys how I get inside people's heads. Just because I got this little innocent face, don't mean I'll be stirring up a lot of trouble. Somebody who is intelligent as me, some of you guys already know that I do a lot of little things to mess people up in the head. Being this intelligent and then having people at my mercy mentally, I'm a master at that shit, man. I'm a master. It's like that old Japanese martial art, right? When the enemy punches you and you just kind of let the punch just aim to where it's going, and until they hurting themselves, they damn near hitting their fist against the wall trying to hit you. Yeah, it's that kind of, it's this mental kung fu that I do. First of all, I'm a very lighthearted person, and it takes a lot of energy to be mean mugging, walking around, trying to be hard, tough guy, Johnny Dangerous. It takes a lot of energy to do that. I tried it before. Trust me, I tried it before. It takes a lot of energy to walk around in that energy. So I stopped dealing with that. And the good thing about being lighthearted is that I get to be myself. I know that I'm corny. I like that I'm corny. You see? But I'm a funny kind of corny though. Unless somebody just really got bad intentions for me to, and it all has to do with somebody not knowing who they are or not loving themselves. They always got to scapegoat somebody else to validate their own reality. Right? But I use people's weakness against them, but it's never like I'm attacking them. I never go on the offense. It's always defense. You see, because it's not my fault people don't love themselves. I'll give you an example. Most of the time, when people in America first see me, especially black folks, right? I'm a dark-skinned guy. I'm supposed to be like one of them. A lot of people are intimidating me because of my physique. I talked to you guys a little bit about this yesterday. A lot of people are intimidated by me from my physique. Now, usually when you talk about that type of stuff, you're talking about, in a sense of a woman, how she looks, how her body is shaped. But a lot of people don't know. Men go through a lot of sexual discrimination too, just as much as women, sometimes even worse. So people automatically discriminate against me because of my physique. They say, why will people discriminate against you because of your physique? You got to explain that, my nigga. Man, well, first of all, they just do. A lot of people my age, they already overweight by the time they over 30. And so when they see somebody like me, they have to make an excuse because remember, they don't love. See, if you're overweight and you love yourself, that's different. But if you're overweight and you don't love yourself, then that's something different too. So when people see me, they're automatically intimidated by my physique because I'm a very slim type of physique. So automatically they thinking I'm not their age. People love to, they try to grab onto anything that they consider as a weakness. Oh, he ain't, he ain't eating, he missing some meals. I mean, and it's really stupid when you think about it. Like, how can somebody judge you off your physique? They do it. They use whatever they can to justify how weak they are. Knowing damn well they wish they had a physique like me. But they'll find some excuse to say I'm too skinny or I'm too small. I hear this going on inside people's heads when I walk into a room. They embarrassed. So me already knowing that, just walking into a room, people going to be looking at me like I'm some kind of alien just because of my physique. It's like, good God, people. I mean, I can think of 100 reasons why it's nice to be in isolation, man. People just, because people don't know, they don't know themselves. And a lot of people don't want to know them. Don't want to know themselves. If you tell people, hey, you shouldn't be eating American food, instead of them agreeing with you and saying you right, they'll hate you for it. Or they might pretend that they agree with you, but then they'll slander you behind your back, all because of jealousy, all because they don't love themselves. I love being lighthearted and corny because it gives me an opportunity to survey the battlefield, to scan the battlefield, right? That's the best way to figure out who's your enemy is to walk around very lighthearted. Let me see who's gonna try to act tough with me, or who's gonna try to put on false pretenses to try to scare me or move me in any kind of way. Because once that individual takes that action against me, that shows more so who they are than who I am. So if I'm corny and I'm weak and I'm lighthearted and you got to prove yourself, well, why are you proving yourself to somebody who's weak? You see? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Oh, so they think I'm weak and they have to prove that they're a tough guy, and now you're tough because you're better than somebody who's weak, who you can perceive as weak? How does that make you feel strong? Wouldn't you rather be testing that shit against 88 Mike Tyson or something? Not Clark Kent. Why you want to prove your toughness to Clark Kent, man? I spend most of my time in Clark Kent mode, and I love it. It's funny to me. It's so funny, guys. I can't tell you how many times, guys, I've been in Clark Kent mode, and somebody tried to put on this front, and then next thing you know, I'm in Superman mode, and it just shocks the hell out of them, guys. I have. You have to laugh at this stuff. You know what I mean? You have to laugh at it. And you best believe me, guys, I have spent a long time just playing with people, just fucking with people, just for the hell of it. It's hilarious to me. You see? It's hilarious. Especially, like, let's say I date a woman who weighs more than me. That may be a problem unless the woman loves herself and stuff like this. Could I date a woman that weighs more than me? Yeah, it just depends. It just depends. But most of the time, a woman, she's going to be intimidated by somebody like me because of my dietary habits and my physique. That's going to intimidate a woman. She's going to feel, 9 times out of 10, she's going to feel uncomfortable around somebody like me. Okay? Even if I did like her, she would still feel somewhat intimidated. Hold on for a minute, y'all. That's why I talk about, a woman from the East being more suitable, because they're very slim on that side of the world. Hold on for a minute, y'all. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 minute. I will be right back. All right, guys, so I'm back at you. But yeah, I was just telling you guys how, a lot of women can be intimidated of me because of my physique. I have a very slim physique, even when I'm in a weight room. Let's face it, like a lot of Americans are overweight, and they don't hold themselves accountable for the things that they consume in their body. You got this thing, people eating 2 and 3 times a day. When in actuality, we only supposed to be eating 1 meal a day. And if you do snack, it needs to be something that is like, fruit, watermelon, something with high water content. Technically, we only supposed to eat once a day, not 3 times a day. Unless you out here swimming like Michael Phelps or some shit. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, I mean, if you're not out here swimming like Michael Phelps, it's probably not a good idea that you eat more than one meal a day. Most of us slow down when we get older. And that's the thing about me too, is that I ain't even in the gym yet. I ain't even in the gym yet. And I got this physique. And it can be very intimidating to people. They're like, how the fuck do you stay so physique, so slim like that? You say, yeah, well, it's because I have self-control. Now, I'm not always eating perfectly healthy. I might have some potato chips or some French fries, some greasy ass shit, one day or 2 days in a row or something like that. But my calorie intake is extremely low. It's rare that I go over 1,000 calories in a day. Okay. Now, of course, when I get in the gym, I'll probably be able to uptake that just a little bit, but not too much. Maybe to 1,500. Okay. But over 2,000, nah, that's too much. Like I said, unless you're out here swimming like Michael Phelps, that's too much. And most of the time when you eat like that, you're going to end up eating some bad stuff you shouldn't be eating in the first place. Okay. Now, being born in the 80s, okay, I know how Americans used to look. I would say around after 2000, it seemed like that's when things started getting out of control. Well, people just started letting themselves go after 2000. Okay, I can remember at least up to the mid 90s. Most people walking around were slim, but then after 2000, it's like everybody. And remember, we talked about how Monsanto came in with the GMO in '96, and that's when I told you guys I started getting highs from eating things like bread. And it took a long time for me to figure out that was going on. Of course, when I first found out, of course, people think you crazy, right? People always think you crazy. He crazy. That dude say he getting hives when he eat bread. You see what I'm saying? I was already up on game before people realized what the hell was even going on. Then when they find out you right, you don't hear people out of them motherfuckers. They just waiting to see what else you say to call you crazy. That's why I don't deal with. That's why I'm so happy with ISO. I don't deal with people, man. I don't deal with people too much anymore, especially Americans. What I used to do, I would eliminate everything I was eating. I was trying to find out why was I getting hives. I eliminate everything, and then I'll fast, and then next thing I know, I eat a piece of bread and I get a hive. It took a while for me to convince myself that it was that the bread was causing it. Because remember, I had already been eating bread for years, McDowell's and all that. It wasn't having no problems, you see. So it's pretty much after '96 is when I started noticing people start being too much on the heavy set side in this country. That's when it really exploded. Now people walk around like that's normal, and they look at me like I'm the alien. It's like people forgot how a human being's supposed to really, really look. I look like a starving malnutrition, but actually, that's the misconception. When you overweight is when you malnutrition. See, a lot of people don't know that. It's not when you skinny, because remember, the body, we can live off just drinking a lot of water for a very long time. You can live without food for a while, but you can't live without water. But yeah, a overweight person is malnutrition. Go look it up. That's the person who's really starving for nutrients, is the person who's overweight. So I didn't say about enough, guys. I just really wanted to come on and tell y'all about how I get to play with people's minds a lot, being Clark Kent. Most of the time, I'm in Clark Kent mode. I'm just walking around, corny, really small frame. And anybody who takes that as an opportunity to attack, that says more about them than me. You see, because if you really want to get down with a motherfucker like that, I keep reminding y'all, somebody give Bob Arum, if anybody want to challenge me, just give Bob Arum a call. We'll train for about 6 months, and we'll have a big fight, Earth Angel versus Karmic. Let's see what happens. We'll create a whole another league in boxing. Because most of the time, people treating you bad, you're not going to be fighting anybody out here on the streets because motherfuckers don't want to go to jail. So all people can do is operate under false pretenses. But like I said, if you really want to get down with a motherfucker, you really want to fuck around and find out, just give Bob Arum a call. You'll train for 6 months, I'll train for 6 months, and we'll meet up for a fight. We'll see what happens. I'll holler at y'all later.